YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we got another video here by Rivsay Desu. Devil May Cry producer praises Asmongold, causing fans to crash out and abandon the Netflix anime. Yeah, I'm not surprised. A lot of people like Asmongold. I don't like him, I tolerate him. I think he's a cool content creator. He's based, compared to a lot of content creators I've watched. Yeah, but anyways, let's just see what's happening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. And yeah, let's just jump into the video. This is gonna be a funny one.
Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today we're going to be looking at some very bizarre drama involving the Devil May Cry series on Netflix. So a lot of people are doing a complete 180 on this series after seeing the executive producer of the show, Shankar, interact with the one and only Roach King himself. Now, we talked about this series a few days ago and a lot of the reasons fans are disappointed with it. If you want a further breakdown of that, I suggest watching my previous video. But to make this very short for the purpose of this video, basically people were criticizing the plot of this series that seems to have nothing to do with the spirit of Devil May Cry. Also, it's very corny. It's basically an American invasion of hell where the demons are...
So far, what I've seen, everybody's saying it's good, Not people are not saying it's the new Jujutsu Kaisen, but everybody's saying it's a good anime. So that counts, I don't know.
Actually the misunderstood good guys, and on top of that there was also a lot of safe edginess to it, right? They were mocking religion, but in particular Christianity, and this is something that Adi Shankar said on Twitter that he would not do, which of course turned out to be a lie, because basically they randomly insert Christianity into the series and attach it to the bad guys just to basically say religion bad. And also people are looking at Shankar, the executive producer, as I said, and he's just kind of a cringe guy. Okay, there's really no other way of saying it. A lot of people like to clown on him for stuff like this. However, that was
that is too funny. That is not cringy, that is hilarious, bro.
Criticism we talked about the other day. But now Shankar is doing something kind of wild. Over the past day or so, he's really been throwing himself out there. And basically, a lot of the people who were defending his show, basically to own the chuds, are now doing a 180 on him and completely abandoning him and calling him all sorts of terrible things. Why did this happen? Well, he started to interact with Asmongold. He began with this 2 days ago, just posting a wall of screenshots with different faces made by Asmongold. Like, the internet is just a great place sometimes.
It is.
That, of course, was capped off when he made this much more direct tweet with a screenshot of Asmongold in a character from the first episode of the Devil May Cry series. Now, the connection here is obvious. He is making it very clear that this character was inspired by Asmongold, and this is something that was shared in the Asmongold subreddit. Let's watch a small clip of this character in action here.
Let's see.
The corporatists that own it and their loyal propagandists in the news media want you to blame the Russians. How stupid do they think we are, folks? Huh? This was a strike against
LOL, because he is the new radio of today. That is funny. I don't care about Asmongold. It's not that deep, like, man. Asmongold is Asmongold, the Roach King himself. That's funny.
Carried out by a sophisticated network of terrorist demons from hell.
And you can see there, after he makes that little observation, he's mocked by late night show hosts and stuff like that. But here's the thing about this introduction of this character, clearly inspired by Asmongold. It seems to be complimenting him in many different ways. Besides the very favorable hairline they gave Asmongold for this character, he also kind of shows him in a way that's pretty positive, right? So he's saying something that seems outlandish in a conspiracy theorist type set of beliefs here, but it turns out he was right, and all the people laughing at him were wrong. And how many times have you seen Asmongold say something that people initially dismiss or laugh at, or they don't even take the time to read what he's saying, and they just simply say, "Go clean your room, Baldy," and then he turns out to be right in the end. Yeah. So he's always been...
Now, Asmongold is honestly right. The way I like his takes on gaming specifically. Politics, I'm 50-50 because a lot of things I disagree with him. But again, with his views on gaming, holy smokes, he is on point. He is so methodical when it comes to gaming, and everything he says is true. Honestly, I like that, you know. But politics, we can argue, you
To
know.
be laughed at and mocked in the pursuit of saying something that is truthful. And I guess, like I said, this is somewhat of a compliment and something that was acknowledged by Shankar himself when Asmongold replied saying, "I've never been more excited for a season 2 in my life." And he says they laughed at you and worshiped the late night talk show puppets who were built to distract them from the truth. Now the terrorist demons from hell are here. Keep spitting facts. Truth has a resonance.
Oh my god, yeah, no, this guy is cringy. Adi Shankar, what the hell is that? Oh, dude, you know.
Now, this is a pretty interesting interaction. Didn't expect to see any of this happen, but now people are very upset because Shankar has interacted with the bad man, and now they have to get rid of him. They have to cut ties. They have to insult him because they were defending the show largely for political reasons, and now they feel betrayed by this man because he interacted with Asmongold. And I just want to show this first before we get into select replies and quotes. This is just 5 random replies in a row, not curated, not organized.
Yeah, I guess it's like that. Not a lot of people like Asmongold. It's how it is. Not a lot of people like Drake. Not a lot of people like the president himself. So I mean, goddamn, it is what it is, bro. Like he's very controversial. Of course, he's not gonna have a lot of people that like him. So you know, it is what it is.
In any sort of a way, saying he's a hack, he's a loser, end your pitiful existence, are you stupid, game end yourselves. People were absolutely fuming about this simple interaction between these two men. And you can see the violent rhetoric immediately begins. This is pretty much always the case on the internet nowadays. This stuff is so normalized. This person said, "You got to blow your shit off clean." This person saying, we're not saying much, but posting a video of someone being beaten to death with a hammer. And of course, you start looking at some of these people, and this guy says in his profile, "Follow me on Blue Sky because this app is full of Yahtzees." Now that's interesting because by the logic these people always have, what do you call an app that's occupied by nothing but Yahtzees according to you? Exactly. And this person stays here and then also advocates for violence against someone because they interacted with someone they don't agree with politically. Who sounds like the real fascist here? I wonder. But anyways, there's more people saying stuff like this. Full force, hashtag R word, Adi Shankar. Here's another one saying,
that is too funny, dude. I swear to God, like these Twitter is a its own rabbit hole. Like people one day, hopefully they'll be held accountable for their tweets. But who knows, man? You know?
Shankar, sincerely, go F your own face with a cheese grater. Wow, they're getting very creative. But some people were just more direct, saying game end yourself. Very clean and precise. I guess that's a little better question mark than people getting into these very delusional, violent fantasies involving these two individuals. But this person makes a good point here, saying, you really are a joke. Not only did you manage to piss off actual Devil May Cry fans, but now you've pissed off more left-leaning fans that would have and were defending the show because of this singular tweet. And by the way, I don't buy this right-wing act you're doing. You are actively trying to play both sides and are failing miserably. Now, I don't...
Yeah, that's true. Americans don't like middleists. A lot of people don't like people that play in the middle. Because, to be honest, I'm from Africa, so for me, I know being left and right is bullshit, both sides. So that's why you kind of need to take a perspective from each side to combine it to make the world a better place, you know, in a sense. Versus you only sticking to left or right. Because, man, both sides are full of shit, honestly.
I don't really know how much of that last part is true. I've kind of looked through Shankar and, like, who he is as a person. He's all over the place. The people he interacts with, very polarizing directions of politics, whether they're popular with people and things like that. He's all over the place. And whether that's an actual act he's doing or just who he is, the end result is kind of pissing off everyone. That's unfortunate, but that's the way it is for a lot of people. They see you interact with one person or do one thing they don't like politically, and you're done. They don't care about anything else. You've now basically traded sides. And in this case, it is true. I think a lot of left-leaning fans were the ones defending this show the hardest because they thought they were owning the chuds. And then he interacts with Asmongold, and they got to wipe their hands clean of this man. You can see quotes like this. Okay, yeah,
Lol.
I can't support this guy anymore. He's actually washed. This is all over an interaction on Twitter. Another person said, what an effing disappointment. I'm not going to say anything. Next one. Holy effing cringe. Keep politics out of the silly Demon Hunter game. You effing nerd. Yeah, let me translate this in another way. Keep politics I don't like out of this game in this franchise. That's
True.
what these people mean. They love politics when it's something they agree with in
But when it's something they
whatever
disagree with,
franchise they're watching, whatever piece of media. But when it's something they don't like, all of a sudden it's get politics out of here. Here's another one saying, well, not going to watch the DMC anime anymore. Effing hell. You know, if you're watching this, I would imagine you think pretty similar to what I'm going to say here. Be very happy that you're free of the chains that individuals like this have voluntarily applied to themselves. Imagine having...
I don't know. I need to watch the DMC anime in order for me to give it a full opinion. Like, I've been saying last week I was gonna watch it, but man, like, cause when I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna crack all the 7 episodes. So definitely I'm gonna watch it. I'm still watching a lot of other anime. I'm watching 300, the slime one where it's the 300. I've been living 300 years and I've leveled up maxed, you know, I don't know what it's called, but it's like I maxed my level at 300 years like by killing slimes. I don't know, some shit like that.
To come out and publicly disavow a show because the man interacted with someone you don't like. You have to abandon your entertainment just because someone interacted with a person you don't like. That is a miserable and sad existence, and be glad you're not...
I've done this before. You know, if I don't agree with somebody, I do cut them off. It's yeah, I've done it before.
chained to those values like this person is all the time. But of course, at the end of the day, what is this really about? It's because he interacted with Asmongold, and they're just fuming about it, and they're projecting about it, and they're making crazy stuff up about not only Asmongold, but also Shankar as well. You can see that right here. This person saying, had no idea you were so pro-sexism and racism. Wow. Pandering to this mold-infested Yahtzee sympathizer in 2025.
That's rubbish. I watch Asmongold's content, so you know, he's none of those. He's honestly he's a normal dude. Like, I think it's because as well, the moment you talk about controversial topics, people view you in a controversial way. So everything he says, everything he does, you know, people are watching him with the microscope because he's what again? He's the biggest, one of the biggest Twitch streamers, you know. So he's like Penguin Zero, he's like Kai Cenat. The moment you kind of now get into this whole politics and talk about politics and stuff, people start like viewing you in like a political way. People start, you know, putting agendas upon you. And as well, you kind of need to be like a clean person. Whereas, you know, Asmongold says whatever he wants. He says anything, honestly.
Like, are you okay, dude? You missed out on some other opportunities. You should have just shoved like transphobia in there, homophobia, you know, just keep going. Ableism. You might as well just shove them all in if you're going to start making up crazy stuff about people in this context. Here's another one saying, Adi, no. I enjoyed your show and I think it was amazing. Don't be closer with that guy. You don't want to be J.K. Rowling male version. Well, I think it's safe to say this part will never happen because J.K. Rowling actually like makes things instead of just throws money at things and calls himself a producer, but that's beside the point. But you see this right here in real time, like friend policing, like telling a stranger on the internet who they should or shouldn't interact with on Twitter. This is crazy behavior that belongs back in 2020, and that's where it should stay because this stuff is exhausting. Here's another one saying, hey, can you not take charge of beloved franchises, then immediately go shoulder to shoulder on social media with transphobic, racist, Zionist grifters? Weird move, dude. Well, at least they added some new ones in here. We got Zionist. We got grifter as well. These words have lost all meaning whatsoever. I mean, press these people to ask them what a grifter is. They couldn't tell you. At the end of the day, they would just say, guy I don't agree with or guy I don't like. Here's another one.
That's a lot. The hate, honestly, is guys, for Twitter posts, we're not even judging the show no more. We're judging, okay, we did that with the Snow White, because, yeah, no, Snow White was wild. But we're not even judging the show no more. Come on, man. We should judge the material, not the actions, you know?
A very bizarre series of interactions here. You do realize he called Arabs third world monkeys, essentially. Essentially. It seems like you're the one who has the much more distasteful rhetoric here, but anyways, another user replies saying he's Indian, not an Arab. He doesn't actually understand politics like Netflix fans claim he does. Where they reply
True.
saying, "Oh, that makes sense now. Yeah, I've seen how Indians treat Arabs. F this guy and F his show. Oh my."
People, I bet everybody that's speaking have never watched the show, or if they have, they're just trying to tweet for because it's like a hate train, you know. Hate trains have clout, you know. So yeah.
God, the anti-racist did it again. They managed to be more racist than the people they're accusing of being racist. This is absolutely phenomenal. This is also the consequence of an OnlyFans girl trying to chime in on this sort of stuff. Like, no one cares,
Yeah.
dude. Like, you're making a fool out of yourself. You're making things up to try to basically get attention. And it backfires. You look insane. You look like an actual racist here, way more than anyone like Asmongold or Shankar. You're basically generalizing an entire group of people to try to besmirch Shankar because he's made the cardinal sin of interacting with a guy you don't like. And you also have to
Yeah, I agree with that. Be careful what you say on the internet. You shouldn't just say anything that you feel like. I totally agree with that.
make up crazy phrases like this. The fact that this is even in your vocabulary tells me a lot about someone like this. But, anyways, let's go to the next one. Cringe stuff like this used to get folks bullied off the internet. The West has truly. That's a phrase that used to get you bullied. But, anyways, you look at some of these users. Main account was banned for calling Elon a bitch. He slash
Wow.
him pronouns just to piss off the retarded folks.
Wow.
Pronouns, jokes, or screenshotted bio equals I own you. Hashtag
Wow.
fella. Well,
My brother. My Twitter feed. Dude, that is a lot.
interesting. I'm convinced they're making these people in a lab. Like,
Bro.
you can't be serious, right? You
It's
literally
not.
can't be serious acting like this, dedicating an entire profile
Dude.
and bio to Elon Musk while desperately clinging on to his app and then having pronouns just to piss people off. Crazy
Bro.
life you're living. Here's another one saying you're such a effing loser. No one likes you except for incels. Fix your heart, man. This reminds me of like Southern Karens, like primarily Karens from the South. Well, they'll say like the meanest, most ugly stuff ever to you, and then they end it with, "But I'll pray for you." That's exactly what this feels like. You're saying
Oh,
all this
condescending.
crazy stuff, and then you say, "Fix your heart, man." I think you need to pump the brakes a little bit here and stop getting so angry over this, and also the way this is phrased. It starts to feel a little bit like projection. I don't know about you guys. But anyways, that's just a small taste of the
Okay, this one again, I think this is gonna be my last time. If Rev covers anything about Devil May Cry, I may not cover it, but this is my last time seeing any drama or anything about this show. I'm kind of sick of it, you know. Like reading all those comments and tweets wasn't a cool experience. I didn't enjoy that at all. This was not something I enjoyed watching because it's too cringy, man. It's too cringy. It's just too much hate. You know, I want to watch something else, you know. Not now Devil May Cry. I think this is it for me. With Devil May Cry content or drama, I don't care anymore. This is gonna be my last video about it. Up until I watch the anime, then maybe if I have something positive to say about it, I'll talk about something positive. Anything negative for Devil May Cry, that's it. Hell no. This was just terrible. Terrible experience. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.